You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we've got to talk about the exciting news pertaining to the Gridiron Tar Heels that we just found out a couple of hours ago, man. But they are moving their 2026 season opening game with Texas Christian to Dublin, stinking Ireland, dude. And I am freaking stoked about this game, dude. I can't believe that it's thinking a year and a half away, but it is amazing that Carolina is going to be playing across the stinking pond, dude. And we are going to talk about that in this one. And then we'll catch up on some stinking transfer portal news, which has got me fired up as hell, man. But we're going to start off with some stinking good news, man. And let's talk about stinking Dublin. Carolina takes on the Texas Christian Horned Frogs across the pond in the 2026 Aer Lingus College Football Classic on August 29th, man. And like I said, I'm stinking stoked about this game, and I have full intentions of going to this game, dude. How in the world could I not? Now, this game was originally scheduled for September 5th, 2026 at Texas Christian, but UNC is going to fork over some cash, a little bit of revenue, obviously, to make up for TCU agreeing to move this game, you know, overseas. And they're going to give the Horned Frogs a little bit of cash, man. I don't know how much, but, you know, that's kind of the deal that the two made. And it's going to be tremendous exposure for both stinking programs, man. But I can imagine that they obviously need that, because this is going to be one less home game for TCU in 2026. So kind of interesting if you're a TCU fan, man, what you think about TCU giving up a home game to go and play in stinking Ireland. Now, Ireland has hosted a number of games since Boston College and Army met on the gridiron back in 1982. Huge, or at least at the time we thought that it was stinking huge, upset of Georgia Tech over Florida State last year to start the stinking season. Now, I've only been to Ireland one time in my life, and it was the airport. And I can still remember the outfit that I had on, dude. It was ACU's, and I was on my way to a all expenses paid vacation to Iraq for 12 months of fun and stinking adventure. But this time, I would love to venture outside of the stinking airport and experience the rich history of a country like Ireland, man. I'm super stoked about this game, dude. And if you possibly are thinking about attending this game, man, I want you to let me know down in the comment section. A couple of the hooligans have already expressed interest in, you know, going to this daggone football game. And, you know, this is one of those things where there's not going to be many opportunities like this in our lifetime, you know, to watch Carolina, dude, play on foreign soil. I mean, that's just crazy, bro. It's stinking crazy, and I've got to stinking go, man. I have full intentions of going to that game. So, now we've got some stinking crappy news. And the crappy news is, again, crappy news. And that sophomore linebacker, Amare Campbell, has re-entered the mother-loving stinking transfer portal, man. And this one hits different, bro. It seriously makes me wonder what in the world is going on around the Keenan Football Center, where we can possibly have these things happening, dude. Now, Amare was obviously going to be an absolute staple for this North Carolina defense this year, man, and he was poised to have a breakout season. You know, he was going to be the leader of the stinking linebacker room, and especially with the departure of Power Eccles, man. But, you know, here we go again, dude. Bo Atkinson left, you know, supposed to be arguably the best player on the defense, you know, best player on the defensive line. Now we're at the second level where arguably our best linebacker, Amare Campbell, is he's in the portal, dude. It hurts. Now, it doesn't mean that he's gone. You know, I mean, he could return. This is another guy like Bo Atkinson where, you know, I'd really like to see them, you know, open the coffers, if you will, to keep, dude. Because, goodness, man, I hate to see our best guys forsaking the vision that, you know, Bill Belichick and the staff and the fan base and just all of us have of, you know, Carolina football greatness, man. So, once again, dude, something has got to be done with the constant in and out of the portal, especially, you know, guys, you know, moving, you know, in and out of this thing. I even commented one on a Amare Campbell video not too long ago, and he liked it, you know, so I'm thinking everything is copacetic. And then today, Amare Campbell, right after we found out Carolina was going to play in Ireland, we find out that Amare Campbell has re-entered the transfer portal, man. So terrible stinking news, and something has got to be done to govern this thing because it's just absolutely ridiculous, dude. Offensive lineman Desmond Jackson and defensive lineman Terry Wabuisi Ezeala. They've also entered the transfer portal since the last time that we talked, which is intriguing in and of itself, considering these are areas where, you know, UNC seems to have the most possibility for players to work themselves into the two deep, because we've all kind of talked about how the trenches were maybe the weakest, you know, spot of this team. And, you know, we got 2 more guys that are gone, bringing the total outgoing Tar Heels to 17 at this point during the spring portal. Now, North Carolina did bolster their running back room by bringing in Michigan Wolverine transfer Benjamin Hall. Hall was the 787th ranked player in his class, the 55th ranked running back in his class, and the 79th ranked player in the state of Georgia. He's currently listed at 5'11", 235 pounds, and he's appeared in 6 contests totaling 72 yards on 29 carries, and he's additionally caught 3 passes for 12 yards. Now, if you watch the film, Hall's the guy that kind of gets downhill, dude. Not going to be a ton of dancing. He shows a good bit of patience at times, man, and that's just kind of in the scheme that I saw during the spring game, where, you know, he will allow the blockers to set up, and then he'll just, you know, he'll read. And I've seen him get to the sideline, bro. He's not necessarily somebody that's going to run away from anybody, not a burner per se, but he does have the ability to move the pile due to his strong, stocky build. 5'11", 235 is thick, dude. So pretty good solid pickup for, you know, for the Heels, considering that he's coming from a very solid program coming off of a national title 2 years ago, man. And then last but not least, Carolina picked up a commitment from former Tennessee slot receiver Dayton Sneed, who's listed at 6 foot, 196 pounds. He's a redshirt sophomore with 3 years of eligibility remaining, and he's recorded 2 receptions on offense, plus he played multiple special teams as a Tennessee Volunteer. So he's the 2nd wide receiver to commit to North Carolina in the spring portal after Colorado's Adrian Wilson, and he is the 7th overall transfer commit in the spring. So we've had 17 leave. Now we've had 7 that, you know, have basically committed, if you will. But the way that the stinking transfer portal is that these days, man, we've even seen the Maryland defensive lineman commit and then, you know, 2 hours later commit to another school. So you really don't know until this thing is all stinking wrapped up. And then we can finally sit down and look at how North Carolina's roster is going to stack up in the fall of 2025, man. But we got a couple of more days here. This puts Carolina's overall rank in the 2025 class to 31st, and their transfer portal rank is currently sitting at number 10. So that's fairly impressive in and of itself as far as the guys that are coming in. I wonder, man, that's a good question, whether that actually takes into consideration the guys that we've got leaving and the guys that we got coming in. I don't know. It's probably just talking about the guys that are coming in, but I'll have to look at that later and get back to you. If you know, write it down in the stinking comment section what you think about this whole ordeal, man. What do you guys think about stinking Carolina playing across the pond in Dublin, stinking Ireland? I'm stoked. I want to know what you think And then what do you think about Amare Campbell re-entering the transfer portal? Obviously, Carolina's best linebacker. And then the guys that Carolina picked up in the transfer portal, man. Let me know down in the comments section, and we'll stink and chop it up, dude. Like you already know, baby, it's a great day to be a Tar Heel, and we'll catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation. Go Heels.
I'm a Tar